Welcome to the EU WCQ 2018. We have a top 64 profile. Who are we with?
Tom Paine.
And what did you play and why?
Gouki, because it's the best deck. Yeah, so it just like, it normally beats Sky Strikers because they don't really have that many interrupts, basically. And Sky Strikers was the most played deck, so... And like, Gouki it's just insane how many free wins you get going first, basically.
Okay, cool. What's your list?
So I ran like quite a small Gouki package compared to most, I think, because I was running a level 3 build. So this 3 of is the best. 2 of this because if you draw, you need to have 1 in the deck to be able to send the sword to the Zold. 1 of this because it's terrible to draw, it doesn't start your combo. These 2 for the names, and then 2 of this just for the extra Gouki, but it's not like so amazing compared to just any other level 3 monster which you can just special summon. You still have to normal summon this, so that was why I played 2. But it's the next best one after this because you can normal it. But yeah, just to have some extra Goukis. I didn't want to play 1, that was too few. And I ran the level 3s, so I ran this one, and probably his friend somewhere, yep. This was pretty good. It's okay because the instant fusion target is wind and goblin is a wind. So if you draw, and it's just a level 3 monster, so if you draw it with any of the other level 3 monsters that you can special, you can combo with it, and you can sometimes drop it like mid combo. Obviously, like mid combo, most of the time you're winning. This is obviously like exceptionally strong because you don't have to normal summon to get your invoker. Oh, and you don't actually have to search with it as well. So if you have this, which I played 3 of 2, you just don't search with this, and then you can just summon that in case of draw, and most of the time that's fine. This was kind of okay. Surprisingly, it was better than it should have been really because a lot of people just decided that scooping was not a good idea game 1. So I would be like during the combo and then I would play this and then they would show me their hand. Don't really know why, because that's obviously wrong. You should just concede if someone plays this and they don't know what you're playing. But it doesn't beat cherries, which is obviously a bit sad. So I lost. Like if they happen to, it's kind of a bit like it's just kind of luck really. This answers some hand traps, doesn't answer other ones. So if they have impermanents or cherries or whatever, then it's bad. But yeah, I figured like everyone plays 3 Ash 3 Droll, so it's still worth it. Still pretty much worth it. And then I run a bunch of level 3 guys. So I run 2 of this and 3 of this. So this is fairly obviously like the better one. This I think is worse. I mean I didn't run 2 because it's worse. I ran 2 because it was kind of like the last card that I cut. So I'm not a big fan of running 2 of unsearchable cards in general. And I thought this was better. So this is Gillosaurus. For those of you who don't know what it does. You can special it from your hand, and if you do, your opponent can special summon a monster from their graveyard. So special summoning a monster from the graveyard is largely irrelevant against most decks, like especially if you're going first. Sometimes they do it and you can just pop it with Cerberus for an extra draw, which is obviously not very smart. But most of the time, like no one's going to summon monsters back which interrupt you, so it's fine. And if you combo off, you win, so it doesn't really matter. And then to why I like it, so it's a dinosaur, it's not a warrior, but I'm making Invoker a lot anyway. And then other than that, like after you've made a Zold, it doesn't matter whether it's a warrior or not. And a lot of combos. This is like, so this is way better than, well, it's often better than Marauding Captain because you can, if you use Marauding Captain, then you have to use your normal summon to special it. You have to use your normal summon to use its effect. And it can be negated and it's weak to negations. This you can always just summon. You can have multiple copies of this, you can just summon them all, make Invoker before your normal summon or something like that. It's an extra piece you can get back off Firewall as well and just special summon it again sometimes. So it does quite a lot. It also, like, for some reason beat an Ultaggeist deck. Because it has more attack than Multi-Faker and Silk Creatures. And then I ran 6 hand traps. I probably would have put more in if I felt I could, but I sort of always want to have a combo. I don't want to play too many and not have a combo. This is fairly like obvious. I think everyone runs 3 Ash. And then this I chose over Droll because it's level 3 basically. I figured like, so obviously this is trash against Trickstar, but I didn't really care about having Droll against Trickstar, because I'm not really scared of anything they search, so if they go first, I really don't care. I'd rather have a level 3 monster in my hand to combo. I'm not going to use, I just don't care about having Droll, so I'd rather have the level 3. And then in the mirror match, this is fine. I mean, Droll is, I didn't actually, no one played this on me, so this is obviously better than Droll if someone has a Dolphin. And doesn't lose the Dolphin, which is nice. and you can almost always ogre the firewall. So it's almost always like will stop their combo. And Droll you can combo through if you know what you're doing, but I don't think that many people do, so maybe Droll would have been better. And 1 Ibli because you have to run 1 Ibli. And that's 30 monsters. So for the spells, I ran 1 sword, and you have to run, I think it's pretty safe, you have to run 2 equips. Sword is fairly standard. I think this is probably standard now among most. Some people run 3 equips, but they're just, it's fine, but it's not great to draw. It just summons another monster. Sometimes you can summon a Gouki monster, which is nice to let you carry on if you need to summon Epat, but like you don't particularly want to draw it, so you just run 1. 3 Called by the Grave I think is probably fairly standard in all Gouki decks. 3 Instant Fusion because it's like this is like the reason everyone knows why Instant Fusion is so good, and then Gillosaurus basically does the same thing as Instant Fusion. So it's just something you can just summon any time you want, and then you can bring it back off Firewall and summon it again. And then I ran 1 rematch. This I think goes against most people running 2 rematch. I feel like most of the time you just sort of accept the fact that you might lose a grind game and you might want to, but drawing this card will lose you more games, I felt. And honestly, this weekend I missed it like no times. I don't actually think I ever needed the second one to win a game. And it might be that my opponent scooped because I thought I was running a second one, but I don't think I ever needed it. And this, like, I'm not a massive fan of this card, like not having an extender, but obviously this lets you push through everything, so you can't like directly combo with this unless you draw Dolphin and you can discard a card. But just pushing through hand traps is quite good. But most of the time I'd just rather an extra extender, so I didn't run Monster Reborn for that reason. But this can like bring back 5 monsters obviously, which is quite impactful.
Okay.
Extra deck?
Yep.
This is obvious. Obviously, like, I'm not running the Sky Striker cards. I'm not running Rota or Upstart Goblin, which I guess if anyone's seen any of my deck profiles before, they know I'm quite a big fan of Upstart Goblin. So a lot of combos, like it makes a big difference to start with Isolde to be your first search, so you get the 2 searches, so you can still combo off. So that was really why I didn't like the Sky Strikers, and I didn't like to run Rota or Upstart. I mean, Rota's obviously like good for a choice of warrior, but like none of the warriors are that much better than the other. None of them do anything particularly different, except for Super X, which lets you push through Droll, but if you Rota for Super X it doesn't work, and similarly Dolphin lets you push through Droll, but if you Rota for it doesn't work. So that was why I ran this and not Sky Strikers, and that's why I didn't run Rota or Upstart. This is obvious, yeah, and this is obviously the Instant Fusion target because I'm level 3, so not Raijin. 2 of this because we don't have Link Karibo, obviously. It's arguably like better to like end on double this than Link Karibo, so obviously it's easier to end on double Link Karibo. These guys.
Sander van der Berg, please come to the public event stage. Sander van der Berg, kom naar de public event stage.
Yeah, this is the nicest one to like start your combo with always, because the arrows point both ways, so I don't have to think about which way they point. I mean, you could arguably like play 2 of this. I'm not sure it's so important you play 1 of this, 2 of this. But this is the one you want, like if your combo gets interrupted, that you want to have another one because you kind of need it. And then these other ones for the arrows and stuff. The extra deck's like fairly tight, obviously. Double. Honestly, I don't think I used it. Maybe I used the second one once or something. I really don't think I used it very often. But I think it's kind of necessary just in case. It depends how people play. Like, you don't want to not have the second one in case someone just decides to impermanence it on the ad, which would be very strange, but you know, you can. Firewall is obviously very important, Trigate is very important, and this is like a generic Link 2 and a Tyranny Link 2 which points down in case you get cherried. And then 1 Floral Load. I did not make this the entire weekend, but it's there for kind of weird matchups, or if you get cherried and you happen to be able to make this. Honestly, I think in my deck, because I just entirely want to go off turn 1, probably didn't need it, but it could have come up, but it didn't.
Okay.
Side deck, let's see, so I sided 3 cherries. I sided Electromite because I thought Pendulum might be more popular. It turns out I actually played 3 Burning Abyss decks and 1 Pendulum deck, so Dante would have been a better pick. But you don't even need to cherry their Dante because their Dante doesn't do anything. And it's obviously mainly for Gouki. This is kind of very generic, very good against the mirror match because it cannot be hit by a Cold or Dolphin, and is good, you know, just against random stuff. So like the BA guy's side, Vanity's Fiend, for example, is fairly generic. And a couple of games, like if you go first, you often end up not knowing what they're playing. So you have to have a blind side deck plan. I sided these for like sort of random garbage decks. I played only one Altergeist deck, so I maybe was more afraid of Nationals because I played like a few like sort of trap decks. And obviously the main deck has just got no outs to stuff like, you know, Gozen, Rivalry, etc. I really didn't want to take any losses to it. So I wasn't actually siding anything for Trickstar because I just sided this in for Trickstar. Like Hate Renade's obviously just better, but I didn't think Trickstar was very good. I'm only siding this in because it's not very good against Gouki at least. I'm only siding this in because I want to side out the Ogre, but otherwise I'd be happy just to leave it because most of the time, like their back row, you'd just rather have more cards to push than cards that specifically deal with their back row because their back row really doesn't interrupt you very often. But I knew some people were thinking about, I don't know if anyone actually sided Gozen match, but some people were like, you can side Gozen match and then they might, you know, might kill you. This was good against Altergeist when I drew it. I sided this in going first, and this is supposed to be in a combo with it going first, but shoutouts to my friends who didn't actually tell me before I submitted my deck list that you don't need this to do the Gumblar combo.
Could have been Dante.
It could have been Dante, yeah, it would have done nothing, but it could have been Dante anyway. Probably could have been like Imperial Order or something random. So I can explain that I explain how you can Gumblar combo with this, and then in fact how you can Gumblar combo without this. So for most people presumably don't know what this does, but basically its relevant effect is it's a rank 3 that special summons a token during your opponent's turn. So you can make Gumblar, you needed some way to trigger the Gumblar, and I like this because it was in the extra deck, so you can in theory use like Curious to send Snow, or Curious to send like the Silent Boots and get the Phantom Knight Trap or whatever. There's loads of different ways you can do it, but this I like because it was in the extra deck. But it turns out that you don't actually need anything at all. I did not Gumblar anyone, so almost all the games I either got like, every time I sided this in going first, well, either I won 2-0 or I got hand trapped and never used this. Yeah.
Any last words?
Yes.
Yes, we have some shout-outs. Shout-outs to Junk's Playground, Custom Playmat.
Attention duelists, we got 9 more spaces in the last regional of the day. We got 9 more spaces in the last regional of the day. It's your last chance to participate in a regional event today.
Okay. Junk's Playground, Custom Playmat, Card Market, Ultimate Guard, Games Island, and of course CCG. So I guess I can show you some combos now, or do you want to do that in a separate video if you want? Just to show like how you can combo without extra extenders, so you can like
Broken Gillosaurus is.
I can show you how broken Gillosaurus is if you want to see it. Do you want to do that now?
Let's go. Yeah.
So I guess I'll just show first like how you can so you can push through draw if you draw this. So I'll just show like I'll show how to push through draw if you draw this. You can push through draw Ogre basically if you draw this and a Gouki. But I'll show like just a standard extra link, let's say. Trigate extra link with like this, and maybe, but you don't even need that. So let's say I open these 4 cards. So this is Trigate extra link, which I don't think that many people in like EU know. So I'll show you how to do that. So you obviously like, no, it's obviously like, it really doesn't matter what you search. So it's usually like, I do this if I know they have no hand traps, if I use Dolphin or whatever. But I would not normally, so you obviously do the Invoker. I would not normally search, which side does this need to go? It needs to go this side. I would not normally search Super X here, but if I know they have no hand traps, then I can save a monster and search the Super X here, but normally it's better to not search the Gouki that's in the graveyard in case you need to use rematch. Where's my hand gone? There's my hand. Let's do that. Yeah, so you don't normally want to search Super X, but in this case I will, just to save a monster. And Headbat. Sorry, I'm doing this upside down, so I'll probably make a mistake somewhere. And then you use Zold, obviously. So like it starts off the same as everyone kind of knows. is just there's a couple of extra steps which people miss out. So you obviously like summon this guy, make Goblin, search this, and rematch. I can show you how to Gumblar as well before if you want in TCG, which is quite nice. So rematch these two obviously into Firewall. Please tell me if I do something in the wrong direction. Add back sword. Obviously fairly standard. So if you happen to have had an extra monster already, then you don't use Firewall here in case to stop it being ogred, because you have to put Firewall chaining 2 because of Ibli. But if you don't, then you have to just, you know, lose to ogre. So Firewall has to be chaining 2 here. Draw a card. I'll just draw an Ash just for the sake of just to show what we've drawn. Add back sword once more. So you obviously need I think you need 2 monsters to do it fully. 2 monsters or an extender. So I think everyone probably knows how to do it with another extender. So I'll just show you how to do it with 2 monsters. So those 2 make. I keep looking at my side. Those 2 make another one. So you obviously use like Firewall 1, Nightmare 2, and the Gouki 3. If you particularly want to draw a monster, then you can obviously use this Chainlink 3. But you might not want to draw a monster. Oh, that's banished. Yeah, you might not want to draw a monster, so let's just say you don't want to draw any Goukis. So yeah, special, add special, and draw another Ash. You don't need sword anymore, so you use Firewall to add back Ibli and a Gouki monster. If you're doing Gumblar, you need to add back the Cobra. Special. Right, so now, yeah, it's almost what you'd expect. It's just there's one extra step. So you do 1, 2 again. Scorpio. And then, so here is where people don't know what to do. So most people think, okay, so you link this into Mermaid and then you're kind of stuck because Firewall doesn't summon anything. So what you do is you link these 2 away into a Nightmare monster. Doesn't matter which of these. And add and summon another Gouki. And then link this into a Mermaid, and then summon another Gouki. Oh, so it turned out you probably don't want to summon that Gouki because that's illegal to make Cerberus with that. And then link that into Cerberus. And then if you want to be really swanky, then you leave a Gouki out here. So some people make Phoenix, and that's really dumb because nothing has 3,000 attack points that's not from the extra deck. So if you leave a Gouki out here, now they can't kaiju you either, because if they kaiju, well, they can't kaiju one of these, which is quite nice. And you probably want to have given them Ibli at some point as well, but I always forget to do that. So that's that combo. So yeah, so that's quite a nice combo. I can show if you want any more to play through how to play through draw if you want if you draw Super X.
I think we'll leave it here.
Or you can leave it there.
Just do this
or
one
add a Gumblar for 4. If you want
show us the Gumblar one. There's
show
a Gumblar
for 4?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll show Gumblar for 4. Combo guide, Gouki combos. So I think you need like either 2 or 3 monsters in your hand as well as the Gouki combo. Yeah, basically. So let's say you draw like these 2 and no... you might need like another monster, I'm not sure.
Attention viewers!
I can't really remember.
Registration for the regionals are now closed. Registration for the public events regionals are now closed.
So you do exactly the same as before, and I'll show you how to Gumblar. So this is a grave. Yeah, that's the grave. Okay, so Link is old. Like again, you really don't, most of the time you don't want to add the Super X. Again, I'm just showing it. You use like less monsters if you use the Super X, but it's more vulnerable to being drolled. So you add these two, and sword, Octo.
Ancient Duelists, registration for regionals are now closed. Players can still register for winner match. Players can still register for player winner match.
Should be a nightmare monster on the field now as well. Rematch. Like, it doesn't. Which side you want just like matters which nightmare you end up with. Obviously. Banish 2 for sword, doesn't matter what you banish. Yeah, you need to end with 2 Cobra. We need to end with a Cobra and a Gouki. Do the standard. It's very, like, it all starts the same way, but then it gets a bit different. So, 1, 2, special, draw this, just so you can draw something. Add sword back. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you banish at all. Link into this. And then you of course go 1, 2, 3. Let's draw another Ash. Draw another hand trap. We'll see how many monsters we used. But I'll just use these as extra monsters. And then you add a Gouki and special it. So Firewall, you want to add back Cobra here, or you need to end with a Cobra and a Gouki. So Firewall, add back these two, and then normal. That right. To remind myself how it goes. I think you just So now you link these two into Cerberus. So it's nice to have the Cerberus here. So when you end up summoning off Gumblar, and you can summon a monster, like you have to keep summoning for Firewall, so you can summon here without triggering Gumblar and then use the co-linked Gumblar effect. So you search and special. Right, so now you need to do this. If you have an extender, then you can just link this and summon the extender. If you don't have an extender, then you have to use more monsters in your hand by doing the same thing as before to keep up the same number of monsters. So let's do it without an extender. We're running low on Goukis. So you do need to use more monsters if you've done things without an extender. And here you just summon this here. Let's see how many monsters you use. Is that right? No, you don't summon that there. Summon that there. And then you now use Firewall to summon. So this one is going to stay where it is now. So you summon that. And now you link away these two into Unicorn or Trigate, doesn't matter. Summon that. And now link away these two. So we've used, what did we use? Ash, yeah. So we used 2 monsters apparently. That seems pretty legit, okay? And summon Cobra, and you need another monster in your hand. So now you didn't summon next to a co-link monster, so you didn't summon in a space a zone that a link monster points to. So you can use Gumblar and discard 2 because you didn't trigger the other effect of Gumblar, and then you probably want to add for sword before you and then your opponent's standby phase. So long as you have a monster in your hand, you are allowed to. You can use the effect of Cobra to tribute itself and give this Cobra some attack points. You need a monster in your hand, but you don't actually need to summon the monster in your hand because you can search for the Cobra, and then you add some random Gouki to your hand and special it, and then because you summoned to the zone the link monster points to, then you can trigger Gumblar, and that's Gumblar for 4. And that was Gumblar for 4 with you needed 3 monsters in your hand from your 2 draws and your starting hand, as well as Gouki plus extender. Okay, so there you go. So yeah, shout outs to CCG I guess, and Gumblar combos, which I never did, but they are there. Okay, that's why Gouki's good.
Congrats, thanks for the list.
Thanks.